Hey everybody, today we have my sister Justine on Real Talk. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So we are almost halfway through the year. We're towards the end of June today. Justine, if I was a buyer, there's lots of stuff going on in the market, lots of different dynamics. If I was a buyer, where would I want to buy? Where are the best deals? What are the best segments of the market?
That's a great question. So there's a couple of different things to examine when we're talking about a buyer and what they're looking for right now. So first up, if we're talking about an investor, your best bet is going to be a condo. I'm thinking a pre-construction or an assignment sale, because the assignment sales are finding a lot of sellers who bought 4 years ago and can't necessarily make or close on the product. They're giving up their down payments. And then another great option is pre-construction, because a lot of builders are giving really, really great incentives to get their projects off. Crazy incentives, like $50,000, $100,000 off, a guaranteed rental, 2% mortgage rate for 2 years, because they need the deposits to get their projects off the ground. So I'm an investor, that's where I'm starting. Now, first time buyer, I'm still thinking about condos, because they've come down so much in value that you're getting a great deal that is way less than the rent you're paying.
That's amazing, because condos have been kind of, I don't want to say taboo, but now you're starting to see, like in Toronto, this is where you start to see the bottom of the market, is when things start to cash flow and you can buy certain condos in certain buildings that you're going to rent them out and be in the green. We're not talking big money, but that's when you start to see the bottom of the market. We're starting to see that sort of wave of cash flow properties coming towards the west and into like Mississauga, Oakville, Burlington.
Well, what's really interesting is we're seeing it in Kitchener. Kitchener, you can buy a condo for $399 out of the cash flow, which is crazy. And then in Toronto, as you said, and it's not big money, but as long as you're not in the red every month, I would consider a win with an investment right now. Okay,
so let's talk about our home markets, because there's always this dynamic, and it's tough to tell where you're at in a given time of the year. But since we're halfway, I like to look at Waterdown as kind of its own market, and then Burlington, and then I'll lump the whole of Hamilton together. Where do you see these things? Like what's selling, what's not selling, what are buyers buying?
So I think especially right now, you do have to look at those as such distinct markets, because there's different pieces happening in all those economies. So Waterdown above $1 million is a really tough spot right now. And that's because we have people that are trying to move down. However, the different story in Waterdown is that entry level, that townhome, is starting to pop off. We're seeing homes go in multiple offers because those first time buyers, or those buyers that are moving up from those condos, are finally starting to make a move. Now, if we take a look and we go to Burlington, that's an entirely different story, because the prices there match Waterdown. When Waterdown matches Burlington, we tend to see people move to Burlington. It's a bit more desirable in terms of location.
Yeah, people are usually going to go to Waterdown because they're trying to get a deal.
Yeah.
We've got this weird thing where Waterdown and Burlington have equalized, which isn't so great for Waterdown, because we're starting to bleed buyers back out into Burlington, and that's why you're seeing quite a few more sales in Burlington than in Waterdown.
Yeah, and Burlington, kind of across all spectrums, with the exception of condos, are doing quite well. As long as it is, and this is really important to note, is that it's priced sharply and it looks great, because there still is more inventory than there are buyers in the market in there.
And then in Hamilton, it's a fantastic time if you want to move up, because you're seeing in like the 6 to 7, maybe even closer to 8, homes are moving at that price point almost across the board and in all areas. But it's not that big of a step up to go from, say, like 7 up to 9 or even $1 million. But the difference in what you get in the house, you're getting like 2.5 times the house. Plus you might be getting a garage and a pool. So, the step up is not as big as it was, certainly say like 2 years ago.
Absolutely. And you can take advantage of that smaller price gap to get that home that will, if you move from your $600,000-$700,000 home to your $900,000 home, that larger value home is going to see a higher increase in equity over the long term for you.
And let's go back to Waterdown. So above $1 million, quite a few listings, more than we've seen over past years. What's your sort of projection for those listings? Are they going to start flying off the shelves? Is there something we need to look out for? What can sellers do?
That's a really tough thing. I wish I had a crystal ball for Waterdown sellers. However, there are things that if you're going to market, or if you're currently on the market, is really look at that pricing. We do have to re-examine where things are. The values have dropped from where they were in 2022. And it's really important for sellers, especially they need to sell, to be realistic with that. The other thing is like refresh your photos. If you were listed in January, please redo your front photos so it helps the buyer envision the house as it is now. I do anticipate that market will come back. It's just going to be, we have to see how Burlington fares. And once Burlington starts becoming overpriced again with multiple offers and those properties become more desirable, Waterdown will become the natural fallback plan for our buyers.
And we've seen that many times before, that cycle of Burlington and Waterdown, yin and yang, and we're just kind of in a tough cycle right now. That's awesome. Thank you very much. Looking forward to the next couple months in real estate.
Thanks so much.